I now recognize the distinguished representative of the British Virgin Islands.
Madam Chair, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Madam Chair, let me first congratulate you on assuming the chair of CDCC. I am honored to serve as a Vice Chair under your leadership and pledge my full support to you over the course of your term. I would like to express my gratitude to the delegations present for your confidence in the BVI to serve as a Vice Chair on this committee. I also extend congratulations to fellow Vice Chairs, St. Lucia and Jamaica, and also to St. Kitts and Nevis, our rapporteur. I also want to commend the outgoing Chair, Foreign Minister of Suriname, the Honorable Albert Ramden, and other Bureau members for their leadership and work. Madam Chair, the BVI joins others around the table in celebrating the 30th anniversary of the CDCC. Trinidad and Tobago and Cuba deserve much credit for their vision and role 3 decades ago that led to the establishment of this committee. This intergovernmental body continues to be an important forum for dialogue on the growth and development of our region. The BVI was admitted to CDCC in 1985 after we became an associate member of ECLAC in 1984 under the leadership of the late Chief Minister, Cyril Romney. Since that time, we have continued to participate and contribute to the important work of this body. I recall my first CDCC meeting in 2016 when the BVI began taking steps to revitalize our engagement in the region. It was the 26th session of CDCC held in St. Kitts and Nevis. We were meeting for the first time since the adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals. Implementation of the Samoa Pathway was also just getting off the ground, and there was a great deal of optimism. Ahead of our meeting, we had a lively discussion the previous day at the 4th Caribbean Development Roundtable, where an address was given by the late former Prime Minister of Barbados, Owen Arthur, on the challenges of budget management within the political cycle, particularly in the Caribbean context, which remains a challenge. One of the strengths of CDCC is its inclusivity. The CDCC is an important platform for several associate members who do not have the opportunity to participate in the annual high-level political forum in New York. This body has recognized that sustainable development is not just an aspiration for some, but an aspiration for all Caribbean societies. The associate members of ICLAC are able to sit here at the table alongside our independent neighbors to share our challenges and discuss solutions on how we can transform our countries into modern, resilient, and sustainable societies. This forum also recognizes that issues such as climate change and sargassum do not discriminate by political status. Through CDCC, we have also been able to place on record our requests for technical assistance from ICLAC to help address our challenges, which has benefited the BVI. We are grateful, Executive Secretary. Madam Chair, as I close, I would like to pay homage to my dear friend, Dr. Carlisle Corbin, who was formerly a representative of the U.S. Virgin Islands. On many occasions throughout the 1980s and 1990s, he represented the USVI at CDCC and other UN fora. He was instrumental in the advances made by the associate members of ECLAC in the UN system. The BVI will continue to build on his work and that of other former champions of the associate members to deepen our inclusion in the ICLAC family. Finally, I want to commend Mrs. Diane Corliss and her team for their excellent work as the CDCC Secretariat that has been the driving force behind the committee. Madam Chair, distinguished delegates, once again, on behalf of the government and people of the BVI, congratulations to the CDCC on this milestone 30th anniversary. Let us work toward continued success as we forge ahead with implementation of the ABAS and our fight for climate justice. Thank you.